You want to scooch over just a switch? Perfect.
Is that better?
I think so. All right, cool.
All right, you bring us in this time?
Yeah.
I think you're stupid, and I think it's the best book I've ever read.
I'm gonna hate you if you actually believe that. Welcome back. We're Loud Library. I'm Dantes.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here to talk about our top 10 science fiction and fantasy books of all time. Just so you guys get to know our taste a little bit, know how we go. I have the better taste here, obviously, but...
Okay, you wish. Yeah, we wanted to make this video a little early, kind of before we get into reviews and stuff, just so you guys have a kind of small idea about what our tastes are, and then we'll maybe update these every year or something.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it's a good... Everyone likes top 10, and I honestly, like, my tastes change. I think I just read a book that I might get it to my top 10, but I still haven't, like, gotten there yet with it, so... Yeah. So you want to start it off, or do you want me to go?
Yeah. Are we starting? Are we each?
We have like little notebooks and everything now ready or prepared. So.
Are we each starting from 10?
Yeah. Well, I don't have them in any specific order, so
okay.
I don't care. Like, do you have it in a specific order?
Sort of.
Okay. Well, you can start off with whatever. I'm gonna go down my list and.
Okay.
Yeah. The only two that I have that are actually like top are the first two that I have. So.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay.
Number one.
Number one or number 10?
Number 10.
All right. My number 10 today is going to be The Dispossessed by Ursula K. Le Guin.
Disgusting. Okay.
This is kind of her biggest, probably her most, one of, if not her most popular science fiction book. Mm-hmm. It's one of the Hainish Cycle books.
Yep. And
I just love it. I love Le Guin's writing, and I love her kind of thematic explorations in all her books. Mm-hmm. As you will see later, I do agree with you that I think I like her fantasy a little more.
For sure.
But I do love her sci-fi, and right now, The Dispossessed is like clearly my favorite of her sci-fi.
Well, I was gonna ask you, like, since you mentioned that, do you have like one author in your top 10, or do you have any repeat authors?
I have two authors who are on here twice.
Okay. I do not. I think I have it where different authors, all that stuff.
Okay.
So The Dispossessed is your number 10.
My number 10. Yep.
All right, perfect. So I guess I'm gonna work my way down and up. This one I'm just gonna put on here. It's I have it listed here as number 10. Again, I don't really have a specific order except for the last two, which are my tops. But The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien. I know a lot of people don't like include it in everything on it, but I was thinking, like, obviously I love the Lord of the Rings, but as I mentioned in like another video, The Hobbit I think is just more concise. It's more, I don't want to say whimsical, but it has that charm to it that maybe The Lord of the Rings is a little bit more mature in that aspect. But I really enjoy it. J.R.R. Tolkien's like obviously one of the grandfathers of fantasy and everything, and it just having a hobbit that's a thief that doesn't want to be a thief, and all these dwarves and a wizard running around all over Middle Earth. I mean, you can't get much better than that. So I really like it. It's my number 10. So number 9.
My number 9, I have Blood Over Brighthaven by Emma Wong. We read this book earlier this year. Mm-hmm. Both of us did, and I really loved it. I think the characters are great. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of people kind of misinterpret the story. I think a lot of people miss the forest for the trees in the book, where I think they focus on a lot of what I would say is the more surface level kind of thematic explorations. But I think at the core of it is this kind of big question of like, what does it mean to be a good person in a complicated society?
For sure.
Yeah.
And I like the book a lot too. I don't have it in my top 10, and it's not one of my favorites of Emma Wong's, but it definitely, I didn't hate it as much as some of the other people that read it along with us in that book club. Once upon a time, I really enjoyed the character. I really liked the story itself, and I didn't think it was too over. Like, I didn't think it was beating me over the head, and I kind of enjoyed the story. So, all right, good one.
And your number 9.
My number 9 is, funny enough, Sword of Kaigen. I just had it here as the second one from the bottom, but Sword of Kaigen by Emma Wong. It is, I think it's her most well-known. It's not the biggest published one, but obviously, like, when everyone talks about, like, self-pub or indie pub, they talk about Sword of Kaigen, and I think for good reason. It has its faults. A lot of, like, the first 10%. I didn't have a problem with the first 10%, but the last 10% probably like is a little bit like, why is it there? And I get it because it was at some point going to be a series, but it didn't end up being that. But I enjoyed it a lot. It made me cry multiple times. I think there was 3 specific instances where I cried, like hard cried at it, and it was just great. Loved it. Loved the story of a strong mom, family, and it really like holds. I think about it quite often, and it holds a special place in my heart. So, yeah. I figured you were going to go for Blood Over Brighthaven. I'm not sure if you have Sword of Kaigen on yours, but I like Sword of Kaigen the best. So now number 8.
Number 8, yeah. My number 8, I have Piranesi by Susanna Clarke.
Perfect.
This is a short book, but it's I think such a great, incredible book.
Yeah.
About just about kind of about like beauty and how the world. How the world can be what you make of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It starts off, it's a very weird kind of book. You start off, that book kind of just throws you in and you can feel very lost.
I think even with the first, like, the date on the, it's epistolary format.
Yeah.
So, like, the date of, like, the year the Albatross came in or whatever.
Yes,
it's just, that's how you're getting into it.
Yeah, it kind of throws you into the deep end and you just kind of have to trust that you're going to figure out what's going on. And it's beautiful.
Yeah, I agree. I liked it a lot. It's not on my top 10. I actually was thinking about putting it on, but I thought you were going to have it. And there's another book that I think of quite as often as this, so it's going to come out later on, but yeah, that's a good one. My number 8. My number 8 is A Storm of Swords by George R.R. Martin. It is the 3rd book of the Song of Ice and Fire.
You're not cheating?
I am not cheating.
I thought we were cheating by putting series on here.
Oh, well, I have like different series and stuff like that. Like it's part of like it's my favorite book of that series.
Okay.
So like I have it like a little bit like where I have like different series. It's not going to be 2 books of the same series except for one.
All right. Take it back from the top with Storm of Swords.
Storm of Swords. I'm probably going to keep this all in. Storm of Swords, 3rd book of Song of Ice and Fire, or Game of Thrones, as anyone else knows it. It's by George R.R. Martin. It is, I think, quite possibly one of the best pieces of fantasy, period. The political intrigue, the battles, the characters, the just like plot, it doesn't let down from like the moment you open that book to the end. It is a perfect bridge between the first half and the latter 2 books of the series that we currently have. Hopefully, I still think that Winds of Winter is going to come out at some point. Maybe not the last one, but I really like it. I enjoyed it a lot. It's one of my favorites.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Right.
Number 7.
Number 7. My number 7. Again, you kind of called this before. It is my other kind of repeat author. It is The Sword of Kaigen by M.L. Wong.
Perfect. Okay.
I agree with everything you said at the top when you were talking about it. I think kind of the first and last maybe 5 to 10%. I think is kind of weak, but that middle chunk is probably some of the best fiction I've ever read.
Yeah.
I'm pretty much an outlier. In that I actually like Mamoru's story better than
Misaki's.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mamoru is very. I'm not trying to give anything away, but yeah, his story is it probably hits better for a lot of people. I personally just enjoy strong mom.
Yeah. I mean, Misaki's still an incredible character, and I still love that part of the book. But I think, like for me, I really just connected more with what Mamoru was going through and the kind of stuff he was doing.
And I think like also the structure. It's not a traditional structure in like a normal fantasy.
No.
And obviously it lends to the self-hub. How it came out and everything. Yeah, it definitely Mamoru was really good. That's a good one. My number 7 is Hyperion. The first book of the Hyperion Cantos by Dan Simmons. It is
one of the most overrated books of all time.
You know what? I don't think so. This is the one that I was kind of like going back and forth on putting Piranesi or this one, and for some reason, I think it might be overrated in a sense. I still personally like it. I know I've thought about it a lot more as like time goes on, and I enjoy the Canterbury Tales, and this is Canterbury Tales in Space. And it is, I think about it quite often that it pushed out Piranesi for me. And that's kind of like how I'm basing this top 10. Is just like how often do I reflect on it? How often do I go back to it? I know Tutorama just had a recent book club of it, and they reviewed it. But I think that one helped cement it. That like, hey, look, I do really think about this one often enough, and I really like the journey that we went through and everything. So. All right, you're number 6.
My number 6 is a book probably a lot of people don't know about, but it is Radiance by Catherine M. Valenti.
Yeah.
This book I read, it was another one I read this year.
Yeah.
That I just kind of fell in love with. I really loved her writing. I want to read more of her work. But this book, it is basically, it kind of opens with, it's this like alternate timeline kind of Earth where we went to space much earlier. So so it's kind of like 1930s, 20s, 30s, 40s ish.
Okay.
But we're in space already, and we've kind of spread out across the solar system already.
Did it have a like cyberpunk kind of feel, or no?
No, it's more of a like I don't know what you would call it, like a Roaring 20s kind of feel to it.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and you actually, so the whole book is about kind of this woman is the daughter of a famous filmmaker in this universe, and she is a documentary filmmaker. And you kind of slowly find out that through what you're getting, it is you're getting kind of bits and pieces of different stories here and there. Like you'll get a diary entry from her stepmother, and then the next chapter will be a like government interview with her ex-boyfriend.
Okay.
And you're kind of slowly finding out about this woman's life through other people, through different stories, but then you're also getting these kind of weird, like, metafictional, kind of, like, written-out narrativizations of some of the documentaries that she filmed. So you're seeing her on these documentaries, but then you're getting these accounts from everyone else that's like, oh no, she put on a show for the camera, but the camera was always on her. But like, that's not. But it's this really cool thing. I think it's a great book. I don't know if it's for everybody, but I absolutely loved it.
I remember you talking to me about it, and you mentioning that it was going to be one of your top books. And surprising. I didn't know obviously anything about the story. So my number 6, right? 6 is where we're at.
Yep.
Is Magician by Raymond E. Feist. I mentioned this in our first video or second video that Magician is one of my earlier fantasy reads. My uncle was the one that kind of introduced me into like reading and stuff like that, and he liked sci-fi fantasy a lot. And Magician was probably the second series after Lord of the Rings that I read, fantasy series that I read. In rereading the first part or first book, which is Magician Apprentice, I realized that there was so much of that book that I enjoyed, and I actually kept on going throughout my life. That I just kind of forgot that it was attributed to this book, and I love it. It's great. I had a great. I think about it quite often, and I'm really excited to get back to reading the second part of Magician Master and the rest of the series too, because Broken Binding came out with those beautiful editions. But it holds a special place in my heart, simply because of all the things that I didn't realize it was kind of subtly influencing.
All right, cool.
Yep. Number 5. We're at 5.
All right, for number 5, I'm kind of double cheating with mine.
Perfect.
Because I put a series, and not only I put a big I think people would argue with me that it's not actually a series, and mine is The Cosmere.
Ill.
All of the Cosmere. If I had to pick one book, I would say it might be Warbreaker or Yumi.
Okay.
If I had to pick one.
Yeah.
Pick one right now. The Cosmere is kind of, I think like most people, it's pretty foundational to my fantasy reading.
Yeah.
I read it pretty early when I was getting back into reading.
Mm-hmm.
I actually read Mistborn first. And I didn't love it, and I was kind of like, okay, maybe this isn't for me. And then someone else told me to read The Way of Kings, and I read that, and I just fell in love. Mm-hmm. And yeah, there's just so many books in that series that I just absolutely adore. Yeah.
Surprisingly, I don't have any Sanderson on there, but if I had to choose, it'll probably be either Warbreaker or Yumi. He's cheating, but it's fine. My number 5 is Jade War, the second book of the Greenbone Saga by Fonda Lee. I know you don't like. Or you don't particularly care.
I only read the first one.
You only read the first one.
I didn't particularly care.
The second one, I think, just takes it up a little bit more. It widens the world. You get to see different parts of the world, a little deeper dive into the characters. I know a lot of people have an issue with Fonda Lee's writing style. Again, I'm not sure if it's an Asian thing or anything, but apparently there's a little bit more show and tell.
Yeah, well, she's Canadian, so.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a style, because Emma Wong has the same thing. She's American, and I don't know.
I don't know if she has this. Maybe she does have the same thing. I think there are parts of those books.
So I'm not sure if it's a cultural thing.
It leans into it.
Yeah. And then Jade War, I just fell in love. I had just come off of DNF of another series that's somewhere in the background in here, and I was kind of like, what's going on? Why am I DNFing these series and everything? And then I came across Jade City and then Jade War, and I remember spending like late nights reading Jade War and then freaking out, and then I go on Twitter and I message at Fonda Lee, and she actually responds back, and I'm like freaking out about that. So
awesome.
yeah, she's really good about that, and yeah, I love that series. The Pillars, what is it? The Clan is My Blood and Pillars is the Master. All that, love it. That's number 5. Number 4.
All right, my number 4 is The Spear Cuts Through Water by Simon Jimenez. I think this book is great, kind of for its more experimental properties, I guess you could say. I think that this book has a very, very atypical structure that is very weird to see. I think it was... I could be wrong, but I think it was just straight to traditionally published.
Yes,
I don't think it was indie published.
No.
Which is so it's not something you see in Trad Pub very often. That the kind of experimental structure it has, but this book is just incredible. It has this kind of very mythological feel to it, and the kind of whole. I wouldn't say the whole book, but so much of that experimental structure lends to it really feeling like a myth is getting passed down to you. Yeah. I read that too. I didn't enjoy it as much as you, but it definitely, because of like how atypical it is in how it's storytelling, I really enjoyed it a lot too. And I highly recommend it, especially if you're looking for anything a little bit like out of the norm. Definitely. Yeah. All right, your number 4.
My number 4 is Night Watch by Terry Pratchett. It is book 6 or 7 of, I think it's book 6 of the City Watch series, actually, of Discworld. And I know a lot of people have like different like opinions on Discworld and which one's best, especially within the City Watch. But Night Watch just did something for me that the other books just, not that they're lacking or anything, but it had something that I was just like really had me thinking about over and over again after the fact. That the other ones had like obviously most of Discworld series have it's like themes or like it's messaging that's trying to get across or at least messaging that's trying to explore. And this one just does it really well, and I enjoyed it. Like you get all the favorite characters, Sandvines, Navi, all these people kind of and exploring kind of like a little bit more of their how they came to be in the City Watch, or like the City Watch that you hear before first book in Guards. You get more of that in Night Watch. Yeah. So your number 3.
My number 3 is, I'm cheating a little bit again. I just put a whole series, but I can't pick one. Mine, I have the Earthsea Cycle by Ursula K. Le Guin. My other one that's a double on here. If I had to pick one of those books, mine is by far and away my favorite of that series is The Tombs of Avalon, the second one. Kind of like what I was saying with The Dispossessed, I just really love her writing, and I love especially how she tackles themes in Earthsea, because it is meant for kind of, I wouldn't call it a children's book, but it's definitely meant for a kind of younger audience. And it is the kind of thought and depth that she puts into themes there for what is a young reader book is just incredible.
I agree. I love Earthsea, and I was considering, well, maybe not top, but it quickly became one of my favorite like series. Period. And again, like you were saying, it's for a young reader, but like it really explores a lot of themes and can still resonate with an older audience too. So
your number 3.
My number 3 is, I think this is my top 3 is actually probably like the actual my order of what I like so and everything. So my number 3 is The Lions of Aurasan by Guy Gawake, GGK. It wasn't my first GGK, it was my second. I started off with Tigana, but Lions, it easily captured my heart. I love the writing. I love GGK's writing. I love the world. It's like a historical fantasy fiction where you're kind of in medieval Spain, just on the turn of the reconquering of Spain in this fantasy world. So it's not really Spain, it's Esperanza or whatever it is. And you have the Jedites,
I don't remember.
So you have the Catholics, the Muslims, and the Jews of this fantasy world, and you follow 3 people from each of these sects or these different religions in this world. And I knew the history because I learned it a lot in school about the reconquering of Spain. So I know what's happening, and you're like, how is this going to work out? How are these people that like are uniting or like getting together? How is it just going to work out in the end? And he does such a beautiful job in telling the story, weaving like just these characters, and like there's some like tense moments and really beautiful writing, and I think the way it finishes off is perfection, like where you don't know what happens, and the poem at the end. I had a friend that I had a friend that sent me a voice note after they finished reading the Lions of Alrasan, and I thought it was so funny.
Is this the friend that I think
Yeah, we're never allowed to speak about them. They're never allowed to be mentioned on this channel. But they sent me a voice note. I thought it was so funny. I actually saved it. I put it as one of my alarms. It's just like them crying. I thought it was so good, and I still crack up when I listen to it.
Your friend crying?
Yeah. He's like, I don't want to cry. Like, it's the best thing. But Lions of Alrasan, number 3, best book. Your number 2, Levy.
My number 2, I put a series again.
Yes.
And it's The Realm of the Elderlings.
Why you like this? It's not even a good series.
It is. You're just dumb.
Yeah, no, you're wrong. You're wrong. When everything is like 3 or less, except for like 2 books, it's not a good series.
It's not for me. If I had to pick one, it would be either Assassin's Quest or the third book or Fool's Assassin. I think
that's the last one, right?
13th?
13th?
It's the first of the last trilogy.
Yeah. Okay.
I absolutely love these books. I view them, I think, very differently than most people do. I know I view them way differently than you do.
Yeah.
As I view them as almost as kind of anti-epic fantasy.
It is.
Where I think Hobb was approaching the book in a way that is very interesting, in that she kind of takes the kind of bones of what would be a normal epic fantasy books and kind of puts it on its head. And it's not about these kind of big battles and like rises to fame and glory and whatnot. It's about this very personal story of
an idiot.
Fitz chivalry. Probably one, if not the greatest main character in all of fantasy fiction.
I do like. I have actually. I obviously have takes about Realm of the Elderlings. I've only read the Farseer trilogy, and I actually recently finished it because I had originally. This is the first DNF that I mentioned that I just came off of.
Yeah.
And into Fonda Lee. The first time I DNF'd it like the 20% mark, 25% mark of the third book. I recently came back and finished that first series, and I read it from the first one. I remember I kind of had forgotten because of my hatred towards the second and third book. That the first book was so good, and I love Hobbs' writing style.
Yeah,
and it's
amazing.
great, and I do like the characters, but it's your top 10, but I obviously have opinions about this book. But I do agree that she has very beautiful writing style. I do like chivalry, and I think there's a misinterpretation of how chivalry is, or Fitz chivalry is, that not a lot of people appreciate.
Yeah.
My number 2, right?
Yep.
My number 2, this is the only one I'm actually kind of cheating, because I kind of go back and forth on which was my favorite in the series, and it is Memories of Ice or Toll the Hounds, the 3rd and 8th book of Maladan Book of the Fallen by Stephen Erickson. Man, I don't know what to tell you about this series. This series has captured my soul. It has gripped me. It has me in a chokehold, and I'm just
a lot of people want to read it.
It is so good. And from book 1, everyone says the book 1 is the worst one, which it is. It's very different compared to the latter books. But man, that entire series has me, and I had the emotional beats throughout the series, the philosophical quandaries, the writing, the character growth and development, the plot throughout the entire series that doesn't seem connected but gets connected. It's just, I love the series. I just finished it this year, and Memories of Ice and Toll the Hounds, and even there's a scene in the 7th book that gut punched me. I love the series. I still think about it. I still think about this series and different events throughout the books often, and it's just I can't gush about it enough. I'm currently reading the not the sequel series, but the co-series that goes along with the main 10. And I'm having a great time. I love this world. I love the characters. I love Erickson's writing.
Yeah, a lot of people have been wanting me to read it, and I have been dragging my feet on it.
Yeah, you gotta stop. You gotta stop.
I don't think I will.
No. Number one.
Right,
number one.
My number 1, I mentioned in another video that we did. My favorite fantasy book of all time is The Goblin Emperor by Catherine Addison.
Yes!
This book is just
great.
It's kind of just the perfect book for me, and I think the first time I read it, why it sticks out so heavily in my mind is I think the first time I read it, I think I just read it at the perfect time.
Yep.
I think I read it, right before I was about to leave for college. And I was kind of stressed about going into this new place where I wasn't going to really know anybody and being on my own for the first time. And that's kind of exactly what happens to Maya in the book.
Yeah.
And he's just on this search for connection and just anyone to hold out a hand and be kind to him.
No, that's perfect into that new I guess stage in your life to read that. That's great. I love Goblin Emperor 2. I didn't put it on here.
It's not on your list.
Yeah, it's on my list. It's just like maybe at 10.5, but I love it, and we're doing a reread of it right now.
Yep.
And I'm because I know the story and because I understand like the naming conventions and the way they speak.
Yeah,
and
I'm
enjoying the story more.
I don't remember who it was. I think someone compared it to Malazan, not in like the way that Malazan is, but in that it kind of just throws you into this world and is like figure it out on your own.
Yeah,
because I think Catherine Addison like creates like a way of like them speaking that I think is like that like unique. only like Tolkien does better. She creates this way, like this whole kind of grammar structure and like without making it like a full-blown language for them that like she never explains. You just kind of figure it out through context clues. Yeah.
Yep. I love that one. That's a great number one. And my number one, and I know it's going to piss you off.
Yeah.
It is Name of the Wind, the first book of the Kingkiller Chronicles by Patrick Rothfuss. It is... Now, I think it's the same thing as you.
If your number one is just the first book, I'm not as mad.
No. I honestly, on either day, it could be Name of the Wind or Wise Man's Fear.
Okay, that disappoints.
I love both of them, and like the Wise Man's Fear, I know has its issues, and a lot of people have a certain problem with a specific scene in that book. But for some reason, like that part, I ignore a lot of times. Like it's for me, it was such a quick thing, even though I think it's like a couple 100 pages. Like
yeah, it's a thick section.
Yeah, it's a thick section, but I actually like for some reason in my mind, it always passes by very quickly because it gets to the part where I actually really love, which is him coming back and him going to different this other continent or not continent, country.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
And like that. I'm very big into like linguistics. Not very big because I don't study it or anything, but I appreciate it very much. And like that whole like style of speaking or that culture that is introduced in the second book, I loved. And that was the part that I was infatuated in the second book. But the first book, oh my god, I think it's the same thing as you. I was at the right place at the right time. It was a book that I came back into fantasy. So I had read when I was a kid, like middle school, a little bit of high school, but like the second half of high school when you start partying and like college you start partying even more. I kind of fell off and I came back into fantasy, and this is before like Goodreads and all that stuff. I had to go online to go look for like all top 10 fantasies, and one of them was this, and it captured me. Like
I think I did the same thing. I think when I had just gone back into reading and I was kind of looking for stuff to read, I think I read Name of the Wind. I know I give you a lot of shit for it. I don't hate Name of the Wind. I think it's just kind of okay, but it's the second one I really don't like.
I get it. So, I mean, I love it, and you're wrong, but it just hit me in a right time that like, and the character is not like I don't like the main character, and like he's not supposed. I don't think he's supposed to be liked. I think it's intended for you to believe that, but I don't think he's necessarily a likable character, and he's a little bit too dramatic for me, and obviously he's a scene kid, he's like a theater kid and everything, but it just. I don't know, it hits me, and I know people say like there's a little bit of grossness with like the language that's used in there. I feel like it's just like over dramatic. I don't know. I don't want to have to start explaining or defending this and everything, but it really it captured me in a way that I fell in love with fantasy again, and I really just like I started diving deeper into all these different fantasy series, and Name of the Wind for me was just like chef's kiss. I love it. I know I go back and forth between Malazan and everything, but I think it still holds a special place in my heart where I love it. I've reread it several times. It's great. And well, that's our top 10. If you could leave in the comments, like, love, all that stuff. Yeah. Subscribe. Let us know what your top 10 is.
Tell us what you think of ours. If we're stupid, if we're dumb.
I'm the best one. Let me know. Not just tell us who your top 10 is or what you think of ours. Tell us whose top 10. Yeah. Tell us whose top 10 is the best one. Thank you so much. Have a good one, guys.